Good morning. I'm Jeannie. I'm an alcoholic and addict.
My name is Andrew. I'm also an alcoholic and an addict.
Welcome again to our series on what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. We're calling this Grooving and Gratitude. The song that we've chose today is Sunday Morning Come Down, written by Chris Christopherson. And if you're familiar with that song, it is so true for an alcoholic and addict. That feeling of on Sunday morning of just how awful you feel, you've done it yet again. And as he says in the song, he turns to drinking again. That way you forget what you did before. The only way to deal with that heartache. And it also, the song always reminds me of the movie of that had Jeff Bridges in it, Crazy Heart, and it tells a similar story of an alcoholic and what all they go through, and it's just heart wrenching to see, to what depths we end up, So those are a couple of things that I would recommend that you check out. To help you, in recognizing, are you an alcoholic? Are you an addict? And you can do to deal with that. We're talking about here on our program.
So I'm loading up the playlist with other song suggestions this morning, including two songs from that movie, Crazy Heart. As soon as Jeannie mentioned it to me this morning, my brain just flooded with memories of that great movie, including Jeff Bridges, the protagonist, singing Falling and Flying. He plays a washed up alcoholic country singer, Americana singer in that movie, and also The Weary Kind by Ryan Bingham for that soundtrack. And I'm pretty sure the day that we saw that movie in the theater, we then went to see Chris Christopherson at the Ryman, and then we left the Ryman to go to the Mercy Lounge to see Justin Townes Earl, who is a fatality of this disease.
Yeah,
it is a progressive disease, jails, institutions, and death. If you're not familiar with the music of Justin Townes Earl, I highly recommend you check it out. And that name Townes comes from Townes Van Zandt, another fatality of addiction, and another great Americana alternative folk country singer, Townes Van Zandt. The distance between Saturday night and Sunday morning has always been quite vast. And when I found my higher power, I really connected with Jesus, and I have a very fraught relationship with the church. But I love Jesus, and he is my higher power, one of my higher powers anyway. My higher power is a many, it's a they and a them, so to speak. But Anne Lamott's memoir is some recovery literature. Traveling Mercies is some recovery literature that has really, really helped me. And this is during her step zero period before she found her way to recovery, the portion that I've picked out this morning. And so this is her deciding to go talk to somebody. She hasn't decided to quit. She's just decided to talk to somebody about the trouble that she's in. And we probably won't be able to do the whole Lectio Divina on it because it's a really long passage, and we don't want these broadcasts to be very long. So just listen carefully for the words that might jump out at you. And her whole chapter is called Overture Lily Pads, and it's in her book, Traveling Mercies, Some Thoughts on Faith by Anne Lamott. That's Lamott. Then one afternoon in my dark bedroom, the cracks webbed all the way through me. I believed that I would die soon from a fall or from an overdose. I knew there was an afterlife, but felt the odds of my living long enough to get into heaven were almost nil. They couldn't possibly take you in the shape I was in. I could no longer imagine how God could love me. But in my dark bedroom, out of nowhere, it crossed my mind to call the new guy at St. Stephen's. So I did. He was there, and I started to explain that I was losing my mind. But he interrupted to say with real anguish that he was sorry, but he had to leave. He literally begged me to call back in the morning, but I couldn't form any words in reply. It was like in the movies when the gangster is blowing bubbles through the bullet hole in his neck. There was this profound silence except for my bubbling. Then he said, "Listen, never mind. I'll wait. Come on in." It took me 45 minutes to walk there, but this skinny middle-aged guy was still in his office when I arrived. My first impression was that he was smart and profoundly tender-hearted. My next was that he was really listening and that he could hear what I was saying, so I let it all tumble out. The X-rated motels, my father's death, a hint that maybe every so often I drank too much. I don't remember his response, except that when I said I didn't think God could love me, he said, God has to love you. That's God's job. So whatever your idea of spirituality or religion is, there is a higher power out there, and it's based completely in love and acceptance and forgiveness and total compassion. Jeannie, did anything jump out to you at that reading of from Anne Lamott?
I just love that. It's God's job to, that higher power that you want to form and create, that loving spirit that's all accepting, know that that's their job to do, is to love. And that's our job here too, and why we are sharing this. It's our job to love and to spread recovery to others. So
in harm reduction, acceptance, compassion, no judgment whatsoever if you're still using. I think that's one of the big things, is that I think some folks in recovery have turned this into some kind of a judging contest or some kind of a abstinence contest, and it's about compassion and acceptance. I couldn't have got here through shaming myself. I was already ashamed. That's partly why I drank. So we're going to drop some song links, several song links in the comments today, and we'll try to be back tomorrow. It'll be our first day with us in 2 different locations. We'll see how that goes. And once again, if you are in recovery, I hope this is already helping you on your journey. And if you are somebody who thinks you might have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you're always welcome to reach out to us. We love you.
Yes. Have a good day.